everybody, what's going on? This is 418 Gaming and Cold Sweps. This is episode 3 of our 30 for 30, covering the stupid Boston Bruins. I hate these guys. I'm a Leafs fan.
Where am I?
I'm a Leafs fan, and
I'm away. Okay.
yeah. I'm a Leafs fan, and Sean's a Habs fan, so we both share
I'm going the wrong way.
a deep hate for the Boston Bruins. I'm going to go yellow.
This is gonna be a rough one.
Yeah, because we got to talk about all the guys we
I
hate.
fucking hate their guts.
I'll go yellow.
Just don't talk. Just don't talk for the entire
Yeah, just
episode.
keep it quiet. A moment of silence.
Fuck these guys. Fuck these clowns.
Oh, you're yellow as well.
I'm changing. I'll go the. I guess I'll go black then. You're going yellow.
All right, so the Boston Bruins, the dreaded Boston Bruins. They
Hate ever love them.
have actually made a few changes in the offseason. And I'm pretty I don't know. It's not questionable, but
I'm jealous. I am jealous
why are you jealous?
because their biggest, I think, to me, signing was David Backes.
Yes.
I was praying that he would come to the Habs, but the Canadian market right now, the exchange for the money, I can definitely see why he wants to stay in the U.S.
Right, yeah, that makes sense.
And I think the Bruins are a perfect fit for him because of the style of play. He's a big guy. There he is, Backes, number 42. He's a big guy.
Yep.
He plays big. He fucking throws his body around.
There's a lot of yellow on the
It's gonna
screen.
be a little. Yeah. He throws his body around and he's not afraid to go into the corners, which I think a lot of teams lack.
That's
in
true.
Players
Well,
because
I mean, big first line
I
centerman,
find
captain,
over the last few years, yeah,
or not
yeah.
centerman, but
over the last few years. Oh, I gotta play that. I don't know who is who, dude. The shoulders are both yellow.
this is gonna be
I
rough.
don't know who to look at.
So you guys don't pay attention
We
to
should-
the
I should have
to the
gone-
gameplay. Just listen to the words.
Yeah, and I think the Bruins, they finished 15th last year
Yes,
in the league.
they did.
And it still wasn't good enough to make the postseason.
Right.
They were the 4th spot. They were behind Detroit, who finished 3rd.
Thank
Tampa
goodness, dude.
finished 2nd, and the Panthers.
I don't
The
want to see them.
Panthers
I don't want to see them in the
finished
playoffs.
1st in their division.
Yes.
Isn't that? I find that really odd to look at. I guess.
I agree. I mean,
Look.
and I look at their roster and like I just think like they should be better on paper. Like on paper they're a good team. But I don't know. I just find I don't know. I hate them so much. It's hard for me to give them an unbiased opinion. Like an objective point of view. I just hate them so much that I don't want them to have any
Why
success.
do you hate them, Lair?
I don't want to talk about it. But I just hate them.
I do. Let's
No.
talk about it.
This game sucks.
It was a cold spring night.
Cold Spring.
The Leafs went up 3-1,
4-1.
and those fucking damn ass Bruins. Because you know what?
What?
They played the Habs the year after in the postseason and took them to Game 7, and I think we were lucky to squeeze out of that series.
Well, I find they just have so
Lucky.
much playoff experience. Like, oh, I thought that was me. Anyway,
You can never count them out.
enough of that. So, this offseason, they like we said, they added David Backes, which was pretty significant. They got Kudobin as a goalie.
Anton.
Did you remember that?
I do.
I did not remember
Who
that
did
they
he play
picked
for
up.
before, though?
Was it Tampa?
Khudobin.
I feel like he
No,
played for
that's
Tampa.
Vasilevsky and Bishop.
But I feel like he played for
Did he
Tampa
play?
back in the day. Was he
I
in
don't know who's
Dallas?
who, dude.
I don't know. Who knows? But anyway, so they picked him up, but they lost a couple big names. They lost Louis Eriksson, which
Yep.
which was a pretty solid player. My guy's glove. Look at his glove. Look at his glove.
Yeah, look at his glove.
Broke his
He's
wrist.
got no arm.
They signed or they lost Brett Connolly, who was pretty decent, little speedy player. Chris Kelly and Lee Stempniak. I mean, those guys aren't going to win you a Stanley Cup, but I mean, I feel like they lost more than they gained. They did sign John Michael Lyles to a contract, solidifying that blue line a little bit. He is a smaller defenseman, and when he played for the Leafs, I wasn't the biggest fan of him, but you know, I guess he kind of fits a bit better in the Boston mold than he did in Toronto. But I mean, Backes kind of replaces Louis Eriksson. The money was pretty similar. Backes had a 5-year contract worth $6 million per season, and Eriksson had a 6-year deal worth $6 million per season.
Okay.
So they kind of, it's like a 1-for-1 swap, basically.
I think Louis Eriksson, didn't he go to, is it Colorado? I don't know. I don't remember that correctly.
I don't remember
Don't
that.
quote me on it, but I think he might be going to Colorado.
And what do you think? Do you think that's a good move?
Well, they didn't trade him, right? They
No, but for Eriksson. Like, do you think Eriksson did the right thing?
Yeah, I think that's a better style for him because look at the Bruins, okay? Like we said, Backes fits perfectly. They're big players who
love to hit.
aren't afraid to go. Oh my God, yeah, who love to hit. They're not afraid to go into the corners. Whereas you look at Colorado, I think they're more of a north-south type team where they stick to the perimeter and they use their speed to try and get by.
Right.
They have some tough guys, but the Bruins style of hockey is in your face, don't give a shit. I'm coming to kill you, so you better prepare yourself.
I completely agree.
I think the Colorado Avalanche are a little more skilled,
which is going to fit Eriksson's game a bit better.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, what my question is the following: Brad Marchand, he has to sing. He has to sign next season, right? His contract's going to be up.
Yep.
So they got to find room to sign him.
No, he's done now. He has to sign.
He hasn't signed yet. Has he signed?
No, he hasn't signed yet.
Okay,
Nope.
so he hasn't signed yet. Listen to this. David Backes makes $4.7 million. Okay. Matt Bolesky makes $4 million. Patrice Bergeron, $8.2 million. Okay, that's a big contract guy.
I think out of all of those players, he's the one that deserves that money.
Who is? Bergeron?
Bergeron.
Yeah. Well, I
Yeah.
obviously I don't disagree with that. I'm just saying those are some pretty
Yeah, I know,
hefty
I'm just making a
contracts
point.
that you have, especially compared to the 30 for 30 we just did on Arizona, where their biggest contract was like a $5 million for Boland. So listen to this: Zdeno Chara, $7 million; Jimmy Hayes, $2 million; Khudobin, 2.5; Krejci, 7.2; and Tuukka Rask, 7.5. Those are enormous contracts. Marchand made 4.5.
Well, you add so you add Tuukka, that's 7.
Yep.
Krejci is 7.
Yep.
And Bergeron is 8.
And
That's
Chara
like
is
22
7.
million right
And Chara is 7.
And Chara is 7. So that's 29 or 30 million in 5
And
players.
picture even a guy like McQuaid makes $3 million a year. I mean, where are you going to get the money to sign Marchand? Do they have that money? And then you know,
I think they do.
they're going to have
but
to
it's gonna
drop
be tight.
all their big contract guys when they want to re-sign. Like, out of those guys, I'm keeping Bergeron. I'm keeping Chara. I'm probably keeping Krejci because I think he fits that mold also of the player that they want.
Well, the one thing about that, Chara's done in the next year or two.
Right. But are you not
So
re-signing
he
him?
would be retiring.
You think he's retiring? You don't think he's
Yeah. He's 39. He's
Yeah,
39 years old.
I guess that's true.
I don't see him playing for more than 3 years.
That might be true. I don't think that when I watch Chara play that I don't get the feeling that he's done quite yet. I think he still fits in really well. Like he's still, you know, he's not out of place at all. So
Oh, of course not. No, he's still Chara. He's the biggest man in the league.
That's true.
And any team would sign him for a year if he wanted it.
Yeah.
He's still got. I wouldn't say he has the legs anymore, but he makes up with his like fucking 8-foot long stick. So
Yeah. How do
all he
you
has to do is sweep the ice.
beat Chara on a one-on-one? You don't.
Honestly,
You wait
I
for a
honestly
second
think
man.
it's getting him turned around, and that is it. If you can get him turned around in a corner on a one-on-one,
Well,
maybe, but the chances of that happening, because he's such a vet, are slim to none.
well, that's the thing.
So,
As
like you
as
said,
a
it's a give
forward,
and go pass.
as a forward, the rule of thumb is you want to make the D pivot. But a guy like Chara who pivots still has the range of a fucking giraffe. He can just come and pick you up no matter where you are on the ice. And I think that's huge. And he has a fucking sick clapper. He has a great shot from the point. And the worst, speaking from experience, seeing them use this against the Leafs in the playoffs, you put him as the man in front of the net, any shot from the point is going in. Any shot from the point. What kind of
If he
goalie
doesn't
is going to
block
see
it.
through Chara? Ben Bishop, maybe? Could maybe peek over Chara's shoulder. That's about it.
Barely. I don't even think he can peek over. He has to jump still. And he's 6'7".
Exactly. It's
Ben Bishop is a fucking monster.
yeah, that's why his name came to mind there. But it's definitely, he's a big guy. He's a big guy. What about their prospect pool for?
Okay, so going and looking at their prospects today, I found in net, okay, they have Tuukka. But after that, do you know who their backup is?
Khudobin.
I actually think it was.
But I
Or
don't.
no, okay, do you think Khudobin will beat out Malcolm Subban?
I have no clue how
Because-
Subban's been doing.
Okay, Subban last year played 35 games in Providence, which is more than half the year, I believe. Or
Right.
just under it. And I think they played 72 games,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
So that's half. Oh no. He played 35 games. He had 16 wins out of that, okay? 13 losses and 4 and 4 ties. OT wins, okay? To me that's not outstanding, but I think it's good enough to be a backup 10D playing with some of their prospects that are now going to be coming up and playing in the show for them. I don't think some of them will be returning to the AHL.
Okay.
One of them I think is Pasternak, who was up and down, and Jake Vetrano.
Okay.
Those
yeah.
two, whenever the Habs played the Bruins, they were all over the ice. And even though they were playing third and fourth line minutes, they were still impactful players, and I don't think they'll be coming down.
Well, I remember Pasternak as being pretty damn good.
Yeah, he's speedy. He's a speedy guy. He's got some good hands. And I think now that they've gotten some experience, Subban has gotten some experience playing with them too, and I think they'll bring him up a little more. Maybe he won't be a full-time backup, but I think he will get some showtime.
All right.
If you look at their forwards that they have in the system, they have Danton Heinen, who played in the NCHC, which is the collegiate conference
Yeah.
in the U.S. And he racked up in 40 games, he had 45 points.
Wow. It's not bad at all.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty good, okay? For the D, Jakob Zabril, he played 44 games, 33 points in the queue for St. John. So, again, there's another D prospect who might, when Chara retires, if he does, in 2 years, I definitely think he'll be playing for them. We'll have him, Krug, McQuaid. They don't have Dougie Hamilton anymore.
Nope.
That's okay 3 top, right? Who am I? I think I'm forgetting someone.
On D?
Or am I? Yeah, or am I not?
Kevin Miller, uh, Lyles. They got
Yeah,
John Michael Lyles.
yeah.
I mean,
Lyles. Okay, so they you know what? On D they have three. They'll have three good players,
yeah.
and then again, they have a forward in Jake DeBrusk, and his father actually played in the show back in the day. And in 72 games for the Swift Current in the WHL, he had 81 points.
Oh, jeez. So a
Yeah.
couple
So
skilled young
he's
guys.
going to be a decent player. Yeah.
Right.
So they're kind of like Arizona, I think, with their prospects. They don't have too many, but the ones that they do have are good.
But do you think the Bruins are in contender territory still, or do you think they should start looking at more of a rebuild? Not a rebuild per se,
Well-
but more like a change. Change the blueprint a little bit and make some adjustments. Do you think they could
Okay.
still compete?
Well, kind of like the Arizona Coyotes, I think they're on the cusp of rebuilding and still having that veteran experience. Kind of like
Okay.
a Shane Doan and Oliver Ekman-Larsson. They have Martin Hansel, who I've always loved. He's a big body. He's a great centerman. I just don't think he's on the right team.
Okay.
The Bruins have some key players. They also have some prospects that are coming up that might not get them to the postseason. So I do believe they're on the bubble of a rebuild. Last year they finished 4th in the Atlantic Division.
Yes, he did.
The only teams behind them were Ottawa, us, Buffalo, and you guys, the Leafs.
Well, we had a shitty division
So-
last year.
Yeah, but those teams had shitty years in general.
Yeah.
Okay. The year before that, I think if we looked at the points, it wouldn't be so bad. I think it'd be a lot tighter. Now, the reason I say they're on the cusp, I don't think they make the playoffs this year, just because the other teams are going in the opposite direction.
Yep, I
The
agree.
Leafs, they have a lot of young guys who have played another year in the AHL. Nylander, he's played another year. They have Strome, who played a year in the AHL. They have Marner, who played
Not
in
Strome.
the O.
You said
Not Strome?
Strome. They have
Did I?
they have Marner, Nylander, Soshnikov. I don't. They don't have Strome, that's for sure.
No? Doesn't Strome have a brother though? Who's
Strome played for the Islanders.
Dylan Strome, that's right.
Yeah.
I'm forgetting.
Well, Dylan.
Okay, I got it mixed up. Anyways, the Leafs, though, they now have Matthews, okay? They have some pretty good prospects defensively. Morgan Riley's their leader back there.
And
They
he's
have-
he's starting to mature into a reliable player.
Exactly. You know what? He's a fucking amazing skater. His end-to-end goal last year, I forget
Oh.
who it was against.
Oh, it was amazing.
It was, I had a wet dream about it, I'm pretty sure.
No, for
Um,
sure.
But they have the right prospects in place, and I think they're on the up. Okay?
Boston's kind of like on
Us-
a flat, like a plateau type thing. Like they're not
Yes.
going down, but
They're
they're not really
plateauing.
going up. So where do you
So you
think
look
they
at
finish
Buffalo.
in the Atlantic?
I think they finish fifth.
Okay.
Fifth. They beat out Buffalo, but not by much, and they beat out Ottawa.
I actually,
I
yeah.
don't see.
Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, I see them being a threat for maybe the Habs and the Leafs, who will battle it out for that last playoff spot and maybe a wild card spot.
Okay.
Because last year in the other division, Philly and New York finalized those two wild card spots, and they didn't have great years. They did not, and I really think the Leafs and the Habs can, with Carey Price back in net, they're a different team. It's just he is who he is.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
He's going to steal games for the Habs. The Leafs are going to have their prospects carrying them. So I really think they're going to pose a threat to Detroit, who is now in a 22-year, I think, postseason streak.
Wait,
Oh,
didn't
McQuaid's
it?
mad.
Did it end last year? No, they made the playoffs. Yeah.
No, they
Yeah,
made
that's true.
they
That's
made
true.
the postseason. Tampa, I think, makes it, and Florida again. I'm kind of hesitant to call it a fluke of a season because they have to start somewhere, and I think it might happen that they have the right players in the right spots, and they've waited. Florida has waited for this opportunity to
yes, they have.
make the postseason.
They did it
not
right.
just once and be a fluke.
They did it right. They did the rebuild right.
They've done it right, and I think the Leafs have done it right too in waiting.
Yeah, but I think
It sucked.
it sucked. The
But
waiting
they've
part's
waited.
the worst. But I mean, I look at the Atlantic, and I think I agree with you. I actually don't know about Buffalo though, so I have Tampa first, and
Hesitant?
I do have Florida second, and I actually have the Habs third. Because
Okay.
I'm thinking that if they're able to play well, I mean Carey Price wins games all by himself, so
Yeah.
I think they have a chance of finishing third. I see Detroit fourth, and then
Detroit fourth.
I have Buffalo, Boston, Toronto, Ottawa, but like before we started this episode, I had the Leafs in front of Boston, and then I just gave it a thought, and I figured, man, am I being too biased right now? That's why it's hard to look at our division. And for me, like, I'm always very hopeful with the Leafs, so I just didn't. I tried to be a bit more unbiased and say, like, listen, maybe Boston's a better team than the Leafs. Like, maybe I should just accept it. But it's tough to tell. And I don't see Boston making the playoffs, but I don't see them finishing, last. I think they're going to be kind of like between like a. I say probably like a 20 to 25 place team in the whole league. But it's,
Okay.
that's the general vibe I get.
Okay. Well, I think both of us, we do a good job in trying not to be biased, especially when it comes to hockey, because when we talk to people or they, talk to us about hockey, it's easy to kind of just toss them aside because we might think that we know more about them, and that's not what this series is. It's just giving our opinions, but I do also think that we give, a certain amount of credit to not trying to be biased in any
Exactly.
way to our favorite teams. And the Atlantic Division is tough to look at because last year
They
we
all
were
had a
probably
hard
the
time.
worst division.
Oh yeah, with every
we were
team
probably
was
the worst
garbage
division.
except Tampa, Florida.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that about wraps it up. Real quick, I just wanted to mention, they do have Dominic Moore, Riley Nash, Jimmy Hayes, and Seth Griffith, all pretty decent forwards. So they have the good players. I just don't know what they're gonna do with it. But I mean, overall, I think that covers the Boston Bruins.
Yeah.
So that was episode 3
that's
of the
good.
30 for 30. Looking forward to our next installment where we cover the Buffalo Sabres, which I don't hate as much as the Bruins. So that was that. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks a lot for watching. Let us know if we should change anything or if there's anything you want us to talk about. And we'll catch you on the flip.
Bye.